Welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom, to Chiefs Latest, your one-stop spot for everything, that's right, everything Kansas City Chiefs in 15 minutes or less. It is your host, Calvin Silvers. Happy Thursday, kicking off the NFL week tonight. But of course, our minds are focused on Sunday. But before we even get to that, our AFC West foes, they're making some moves for their pass rush. Is that going to spark, a trade or a move for us? Well, I'm going to dissect all of that. But before I do, you guys know the drill. Doesn't matter what platform you're listening on, but if you're specifically on YouTube, that's huge because I need you to please hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on notifications because we have daily videos here at Cheifs Latest, Monday through Friday. You're not going to want to miss any of the news, rumors, or actions regarding this team. So please hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Now, we got some good news. That's right, on the injury report on Wednesday. All Chiefs on the report. Jeffrey Bossa with his knee, Nick Bolton with his calf, Kareem Hunt with his calf, Christian Fulton with his ankle, Amar Norman Lott with his shoulder, and Xavier Worthy with his ankle. They were all full go. Fulton, he's been out since week 2. And Norman Lott, a surprise inactive in Jacksonville, they're back, with Worthy thankfully shaking off that mid-game limp. But the Lions, not so lucky. 5 starters, Terrion Arnold and his shoulder, Taylor Decker, his shoulder, Kirby Joseph, his knee, Khalif Raymond, his neck, Amon-Ra St. Brown, his wrist, they missed Wednesday's practice. And then Brian Branch with his ankle, he was limited. Detroit's no stranger to injuries either. They went 15-2 last season despite them, but losing those names that I just listed, it could cripple their offense and, of course, their secondary, which hopefully KC will want to attack. A healthy Chiefs roster, especially with Fulton and Norman Lott back, we're going to get to more on that later of how that truly helps. It sets up Mahomes and the defense to exploit that Detroit's depleted lineup, particularly their battered secondary. It's a must-rebound game for the Kansas City Chiefs. There's no doubt about that. You fall to 2-4. Not many teams. I believe there's only been 10% of teams in NFL history to make the playoffs when they drop to that. So far, fingers crossed, the good news on the injury front continues for Kansas City. But yes, the Lions, they're dealing with some issues. Well, the AFC West is truly up for grabs. We all know that, except for, of course, the Raiders and the Chargers, who haven't won the division since 2009. They're trying to stay in that race. Yeah, they started 3-0, including a win over us, but they've dropped their past 2. And they just traded for Ravens pass rusher Adafe Owe to juice their defense. Owe, with a career-high 10 sacks, 23 quarterback hits last year, hasn't hit his stride necessarily in 2025. He only has 10 tackles and 5 quarterback hits, but he's a major upgrade for LA, especially with Khalil Mack banged up. Meanwhile, the Chiefs' pass rush, outside of George Karlaftis, it's flat. There's more that we want from it. Nobody else has over 2 sacks. Veteran Yannick Ngakoue, his recent, quote, ready to rush, quote, shows that he's ready for a team to pick him up. And hey, this could be an opportunity for the Chiefs. Ngakoue with 14 tackles and 1.5 sacks in 11 games last year for the Patriots and Ravens. He did tally a 70.2 PFF run grade as well. It could give others rest on that defensive line. Go ahead and have him manage a snap count for the others. Spark some competition within the locker room. KC's giving up 123.4 rushing yards per game. That's 10th worst in the NFL. Adding Ngakoue's run-stopping ability, that's going to wake up this defensive line. It's going to fix a weakness of this defense. Owe's addition, yes, that makes LA's edge scarier, while KC lack of sacks, their effort that we saw from Chris Jones, and their leaky run defense, it could benefit from a veteran presence like Ngakoue. The Chargers are restocking their D-line. We're seeing it happen. They're trying to chase the division. Like I said, haven't won it since 2009. KC, though, we're just sitting still. We're just sitting on the market. But we're not going to be able to do that much longer, especially if we drop a game to Detroit, especially if we can't get to Jared Goff. Ngakoue could be the low-cost edge to spark some juice in a room that we just need a little more from this season. just a little more from you guys. Well, you know who else we need just a little more from? That's right, Harrison Butker. We're going to go back to a spot that we talked about yesterday. I know it's kind of a sore spot, but it definitely needs to be talked about, and that's the Chiefs kicking game. Having the experience, having the payroll of someone like Harrison Butker, you're going to expect more clutch precision. But Butker has been shaky, and it's beginning to raise eyebrows around Chiefs Kingdom. In Week 5 against the Jags, it was his most crucial mistake. He kicked the ball out of bounds. He gifted Jacksonville the ball at their own 40-yard line, which they went down the field and scored and won the game. He's missed 3 field goals, 2 extra points this season, including a 58-yarder, which, sure, it's no chip shot, but he's hit those before. And how many points did the team lose by? 3. He's 4 for 7 from 40-plus yards this year and 5 for 10 from 50-plus since last season. That's a far cry from his usual money in the bank vibe. We talked about adding Matthew Wright, who's been with KC 3 times, and last year he went 8 for 9 on field goals, including a 31-yarder to clinch the AFC West against the Chargers. The problem is, Tennessee signed Wright for their practice squad after he went 4 for 4 with them last season. The Titans starter, Joey Sly, is 13 for 17 on field goals and missed on 1 PAT. So right now, funny how I said that, right now, he's being used as that competition piece to raise competition for these teams starting kickers and saying, hey, your spot might not be as guaranteed as you think it is. So signing right off of Tennessee's practice squad for another KC run, it's not going to happen anymore, especially because of Butker's contract. And Andy Reid's not sweating it either. He's comparing Butker to a golfer working out through a slump, saying, quote, sometimes you're hitting it good, sometimes it's off, but you work through it, end quote. So carrying 2 kickers on the 53-man roster, it's not happening unless Butker gets hurt. And of course, none of us want to see that. So Butker's 4 for 7 from 40 plus and Week 5's kickoff blunder, it highlights a dip in reliability for sure. While Wright's 8 for 9 last year with KC, especially the doink for the division, that proves he would have been a good competition piece and a good option if truly needed. Butker's misses in that costly kickoff handed games away. And with Reid banking on him to snap out of it, the Chiefs will have to hope that this slump works itself out. There's nothing else that we can really do, unless if you want to keep looking around for free agent kickers, that's fine. But your option in Matthew Wright, who knew the system, who knew the team, who knew the culture, is now no longer an option for you. All right, let's go ahead and talk about our last topic, because after shooting themselves in the foot multiple times, just in all aspects of the game in Week 5, the Chiefs, we need to flip the script against the Lions on Sunday night. The defensive line is a mess. Chris Jones played 83% of snaps. That's probably too high for a Week 5 game for a 31-year-old. And it showed when he lacked juice on the Jaguars' game-winning play, just watching Trevor Lawrence jog on in after he fell twice. Omar Norman-Lott was inactive, sure, but beyond Jones, the interior's thin. And dumping Mike Pennell for Derek Nottie has not panned out. And then Noah Williams, a bright spot in the secondary with Christian Fulton having been out, he played just 4 snaps in Week 5. That's down from 20 in Week 4 and then 19 in Week 3. And why? Why did he not get more snaps? Jamari Conner can't play the ball because he gets beat, which included and resulted in a PI on the final drive. You need Williams' playmaking spark. You'd like to have him out there. This defense allows 6.2 yards per pass play on 3rd down. It's somewhat concerning. You want someone like Noah Williams out there. Bashard Smith's role shrank to 6 offensive snaps in Week 5. He had 19 in Week 4 over Baltimore. Despite flashing with those 3 catches for 32 yards and then had a 60-plus yard return that was negated by a penalty. With Hunt and Pacheco lacking, being dynamic, Pacheco has looked a little better in recent weeks. Smith's speed, it needs more looks. Different games, different schemes. I get all that. That's fair. But these trends, overworking Jones, basically benching Williams, underusing Bashard Smith, yeah, those have to reverse to beat Detroit. We can't be doing that. I mean, Jones's 83% snap count, Williams 4 snaps in Week 5, Smith's 6 offensive snaps. truly highlights mismanagement of key players, despite their proven impact and limited roles. The Chiefs can't afford to burn out Jones. We can't afford to waste Williams' potential. We can't ignore Smith's spark against a Lions team with a depleted secondary. Sunday night's a chance to fix these glaring issues and regain control of the season. Well, I appreciate you guys spending your Thursday morning with me here at Cheifs Latest. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and let me know what you think about adding an addition to our pass rush, maybe spark the defensive line. And what do you think about what the Chiefs went with on Monday night and how that needs to change for Sunday night? As always, I am your host, Calvin Silvers. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. You are listening to Cheifs Latest. And until next time, have a good one.